Today, I'm getting ready for the symphony with my parents. They invited my boyfriend and I. So this is going to be pretty casual, and I will be going through the products and telling you what I like. So this is going to be somewhat of a product-oriented video, and also technique. I'm going to be showing you techniques, if you can call them that I use to do my makeup. Moisturized with Kopari coconut oil moisturizer, just a really simple, basic moisturizer. And I'm going to go in with a foundation. The foundation that I use is Lancome Teint Idole. It has a very wide shade range. I am very pale, and most foundation ranges do not have my shade. Basically, if a foundation range has less than 30 shades, I don't even bother looking at it because I know they're not going to have something pale enough for me. So, yep, basic pump. It is an expensive foundation. I don't use this every day. It is like $40 or something stupid like that. And this is the palest shade, 090 Ivory. I just put about a squirt and a half of that on the back of my palm. And then rather than apply it with my sponge directly, I find that it keeps more product on my skin if I do like little dots of it. So I kind of focus towards the center of my face. It's a few days after Halloween and I ate lots of candy, so there's a lot of acne on my face, which is great. Can't stop. There's literally a giant bowl of candy right here in front of me. So this is the Real Techniques beauty sponge. They're like $6 and they work perfectly fine. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? And I always forget to do this first. I meant to apply my eye primer. I have incredibly greasy skin and I have tried many eye primers. I found that the Too Faced eye primer is the best. This is probably like my 6th tube in my life or something like that. Probably even more because I go about through one a year. Okay, so that's done. Skin's honestly looking okay. I'm gonna do maybe half a pump more. So I think that looks pretty good. It's evened out the tone of my skin without looking cakey. It still looks pretty natural. So now I'm gonna go in with concealer. I kind of use a combination of concealers. This is the NARS concealer in their lightest shade, Chantilly. It's a little too dark for me to use for a highlighter. And it's quite yellow based, so I also mix it with Kat Von D Light 1 Neutral, which is their lightest skin tone shade. So as you can see as I'm applying this, like it looks brightening, but once it blends out and it kind of settles and oxidizes a little bit, it does look quite dark and it has like a yellowish tinge. I look quite sick if I wear this alone. It's kind of more like my actual skin tone. Then I take the Kat Von D one, and these two blend really well together. So as you can see, that one's really, really bright. So I just blend out. So as you can see, that's like hella brightening, which I want. And I'm just really making sure my under eye is well blended. I'm gonna go in with powder. This is the Peach Perfect powder from Too Faced. And I actually find that this on my skin tone does have a slight peachy color. Like if you look at it, it has kind of a peachy color, which works fine for my skin when I have this really, really light, bright stuff on there. I don't really like to bake with setting powder. I find it kind of bunches up weird on my skin. It might just be the powder I'm using. I much prefer to use just a large powder brush all over my face. Yep, so did as it said it would, mattified. So I'm gonna start with my bronzer. The only one I like really ever use is this Tiny Baby Hoola by Benefit, you know. So I kind of start back here, right where my sideburn is, and kind of just tap. Then I go to the other side. I don't blend out yet. Just kind of tap, bring it forward. Put a little bit up there. And then just blend. You know, nothing crazy, pretty subtle. And then especially making sure that I blend out this area. So using a circular motion back there, getting my ear all nice and bronzed up. So I'm going to go in with my current favorite blush when I do wear blush, which is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude in Call My Blush. So this is a matte blush. It kind of really bothers me that this doesn't have a mirror up top. I pretty much just put this along where I put my bronzer. I bring it out a little further into the center of my face and a little wider. But I try to keep it really subtle. So for highlighter, I'm just going in with this Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, and I'm going in with the color Incandescent Light, which is that really, really light, bright one. dragging along my cheekbones and down a little bit here. I do love highlighting my nose. I think it's fun. And then I usually put a little bit on my forehead, above my brow. And I'm not trying to look like, you know, lit to the heavens. I'm just trying to look brightened. So now that all my face powders are laid down, I'm just going to go in with this setting spray, which is not really a setting spray. It's just the Mario Badescu Rose Water. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I guess I'll fill in my brows. Use the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit. And this is just in the color 3. So it's an angled, you know, brow pencil, and I kind of draw upward, like I'm drawing little brow hairs. And I start kind of in the center here, kind of move forward. I focus more of the color towards the base of the brow. I'm being really haphazard with my brows right now. And then just take the spoolie on the end and brush it through really, really gently because I don't want to disturb the base. I know that some people do their brows before they do their base, which I totally understand because you don't want to mess up the foundation. I will get foundation and powder on my brows otherwise, and I don't want to, like, then I would just have to spoolie over them again. So okay, that brow still looks really patchy. What is up with my right brow? Dog. Looks fine. Alright, for eyes, I have is the Urban Decay Naked Palette, the basic, RIP. And then speaking of basic, I have the MAC Basic Bitch Girls Palette, as well as this MAC, basically equivalent to a Z palette. The one I might dip into is, what are you, Gold Gilt or something like that? Gold Bit. I'm going to be dipping into these two browns here. I'm going to start with this one up here. This one has a lot of shimmer in it. Let's see if the camera will focus. I don't know if it will. All right, and then this is just a pretty dense, thick, fluffy brush. And I'm kind of dipping in, or I am dipping into it, and I'm just gonna go into the area on my crease, going a little above and below. So now I'm going to go in with this other color, which as you can see is much darker. Maybe my camera is focused. Much darker, much cooler. That was such a terrible swatch. And I'm going to be taking that on a tiny pointed brush, focusing that like just in the crease. So I start in my outer corner and pat it gently. You see how dark that is? So I take the color and put it on the other side too. Just like I do with my bronzer, I find that just getting the equivalent amount of color on each side and then blending it out works better for me. Now I'm going to take whatever's left over on this color and just gently sweep it under. Okay, so unfortunately, let me make sure it did turn on. Yep, so unfortunately, I just realized that my camera stopped filming midway through doing my eyeshadow, which is complete now. So after I blended out this color, this darker color from the MAC Basic Bitch palette, I kind of brought it under my eye as well, and then I went in with Gold Bit on my finger, and Gold Bit is this kind of warm champagne color right there. And I took that on my finger, put it in the center of my lid towards the inner corner, patted that out, and then as a final step, I took Buck from the Urban Decay Naked palette, and I just laid that on top of that gray black color to kind of add that warmth back in. I'm just doing my basic winged eyeliner. I'm using the Kat Von D tattoo liner. I really like it because it has a brush tip rather than a felt tip, and I find that it stays very well. So, unfortunately this camera is giving me many issues, probably because it's like 10 years old. I finished my eyeliner, obviously, and I put on a lipstick. I put on this Yves Saint Laurent cream lip stain. It's kind of like a gel formula, and as you can see now that it's settled on my lips, kind of does read as a red, but it has a cooler berry tone, which I like. Going to a dinner beforehand, and they were serving sorbet, I think, as like a palette cleanser, and I keep thinking of the Princess Diaries. So yeah, I still have to do my hair. I'm letting it dry a little bit more, and then I think I'm just gonna straighten it. Yeah, that's really all I had to say. So thank you for watching. I'm going to try to upload videos once a week. we'll see how that goes. Thank you for watching, and yeah, bye. So we just got back. Was it good?
It was good.
It was good. Cats want to eat, so they're swarming me right now. Apparently I embarrassed myself because I don't know how to speak. A employee said she liked my dress. I went, it was $14 at a consignment shop and has pockets, and apparently that's unacceptable.
Could just say thank you.
Also, wait, no, I remember what I was going to talk about. The bartender. So we got to go into like some room because I don't know, my dad's got some connections or whatever. We got to go into a room where they had like free snacks and drinks and whatever. And so me being me, I was like, I want a gin and tonic because I like gin and tonics because I'm an old person. So I was like, can I have a gin and tonic? And they're like, oh, that'll be $8. And I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Give me my gin and tonic. And then they pour it for me and they're like, oh, by the way, if you don't finish this before you go in to the theater, I have to sift it for you because you can't have ice in the theater because apparently it messes with the acoustics. Or two. Hi, Puck. Hi, don't go in my skirt. You naughty. She was like, after a minute or two, like, hey, girl, I gotta go sift your drink because you got ice in it. So she sifts my drink and like a little bit spills out. And then she pours like a half a shot of gin in it. She just like fills it back up with gin. We bonded because after she carded me, because of course she carded me, she learned that I was born in April. And so we're both like, hell yeah, we April babies. Because apparently she was also born in April. And then she gave me more gin. And then my mom spilled wine on me. It was a good time.